So, dear students, welcome to the class on analog and digital communication. We will continue with our discussion on amplitude modulation. The last class we had talked about various forms of amplitude modulation, and we had started with our discussion related to the generation of AM signal. So today we will discuss that generation of AM signal in detail. I hope all of you will be able to understand that thing clearly. Let us move forward. So this is what we had seen in the last class. I told you that the biggest advantage of AM signal is the simplicity with which we can generate the AM signal. And I told you that by simple multiplication of the two signals, we can generate AM. And we know which are those two signals. One is the modulating signal and another is the carrier signal. If we multiply them together, we get the two sidebands. Okay, so you can see here, this is your lower sideband, this is your upper sideband. Fine. So, but we want double sideband full carrier AM signal. So we need carrier also. So that's why after multiplication, we added the carrier part into it also. So that's why we needed analog multiplier and a summer. Fine. And once we do that, we get the complete AM signal as you are able to see here. So just by using an analog multiplier and a summer, we are able to generate AM signal. Very, very simple. Next. So students, here my motive is to tell you the different methods through which we can generate different forms of amplitude modulation. Different forms means double sideband full carrier. Different forms mean double sideband suppressed carrier, then single sideband, then vestigial sideband. And here, like we will try to take help of mathematical expressions, trigonometric expressions first, and then we will try to conceptualize those expressions with the help of block diagram and with the help of circuit diagram. So by combining our mathematical analysis and your block diagram approach, we will be able to understand the generation of AM signal. So I hope all of you have been able to understand AM generation using simple multiplier and summer. And then I told you that we can generate amplitude modulation in another different way. And that different way is by using the nonlinear resistance. And we know what is the meaning of nonlinear resistance. We all know Ohm's law. So in the linear region, or your Ohm's law is directly followed. Your voltage is directly proportional to your current. Okay, you have a constant slope. And in the non-linear region, the slope may be positive and the slope may be negative. Okay, so this portion refers to the non-linear part of your resistance characteristic or your VI characteristic. Okay, so obviously when we move into the non-linear portion, the process of amplitude modulation takes place, and this we had discussed in the previous class as well. And as the non-linearity come into picture, up to the linear portion, we have only up to the first part, or you can say power 1 present. And as we move into non-linearity, then higher powers are present, second power, third power, and so on. Okay. And as I told you in the previous class, we will mainly concentrate our non-linearity up to second order only, because up to second order, most of the energy of the signal comes into picture. And it is simple also to analyze up to second order. So what we do, we pass the two frequencies together, means when we pass the sum of the two signals together through a non-linear resistance, then process of amplitude modulation takes place. So we had seen this thing mathematically. Again, we can see that when we substitute V1 plus V2, we get this expression. If we solve this V1 plus V2 expression, then we get this A plus B times V1 plus V2 and C times V1 square plus V2 square plus 2V1 V2. Okay. And if we take V1 as one of the sinusoidal signals and V2 as another sinusoidal signal, and if we substitute these values here, finally we are able to get many terms. One is your constant DC term, then the original omega frequency signal, then rho frequency signal. Then we get twice omega and twice rho signals, means some harmonics of the original frequencies. And then we get the sidebands. So this is your lower sideband portion, and this is your upper sideband portion. So we are mainly concerned with these sidebands, which refers to the modulation part. So I'm not saying that 100% pure signal of AM has been obtained, but the components of AM we have obtained here, and unwanted components can be filtered out, and we can keep with us the desired components. Okay, so that way we are able to generate AM signal using non-linear resistance. Fine. So students, this is conceptually how we generate amplitude modulation using non-linear resistance. Now let us move forward. So this is the actual circuit diagram through which we generate amplitude modulation. And students, we need to basically correlate whatever we discuss mathematically with our concept. As I told you, we can generate AM signal using non-linear resistance. And we know that all our semiconductor devices, they give us or they provide us non-linear resistance, and PN diode is one such device. Okay, so here in this circuit diagram, what we do, we generate AM signal using non-linear resistance characteristic device. Okay, and the name of that device is PN diode. All of us know the characteristics of PN diode. We have studied the characteristics of PN diode. If we draw the VI characteristic of PN diode, it looks like this. You very well fully know that this is voltage, and this is your current, and this is your forward biased characteristic. So you can see that this is your non-linear characteristics. Okay, and as we have proved mathematically in the previous slide, that when we pass our modulating signal and carrier signal through non-linear resistance, we can generate AM signal. Okay, so though in this circuit diagram I have shown you a diode, then instead of diode you can use any other non-linear device also. You can use transistor, you can also use field effect transistor. So whatsoever device exhibits non-linear characteristics, you can use that device for generating your amplitude modulated signal. Okay, and how do we do that? What we have to do in this circuit diagram that is in front of you, we apply modulating signal or modulating voltage and carrier voltage in series. Okay, we apply them in series at the input of the diode. So this is our diode. And how do we normally apply the two signals? Okay, see, we are using a transformer here. Okay, so at the input of the transformer, we have used modulating signal, we have used carrier signal. So there are two coils in the primary of this transformer, and these coils are connected in series. So obviously we have VM plus VC at the input or the primary of this transformer, and this VM plus VC will be induced at the secondary of this transformer. So we can see that your VM plus VC, the sum of these two signals, it will be applied to our diode. Okay, or you can say sum of these two signals is passing through the non-linear resistance of the diode. So as it passes through diode, we know that your diode will be forward biased, and the current which is flowing through the diode will be proportional to this input voltage. And obviously it is passing through the non-linear resistance of your diode. So this current will have the components related to your amplitude modulated signal. And whatever current is induced or voltage is induced in the primary of the output transformer, same is obtained at the secondary, and it is passed through your resistance, and as a result we get the output voltage. So this output voltage is nothing but it consists of your amplitude modulated signal components. Okay, I'll show you in the next slide which components are there and how do we get the AM signal, full AM signal. Okay, so I hope all of you are able to understand this diagram, that how actually we are passing the sum of two signals, that is modulating signal and carrier signal, through non-linear resistive diode. Okay, and how do we get the output signal? So now let us move forward. So you see here the same expression I have now reproduced with the actual carrier, actual modulating signal in place in these expressions. These expressions we have also seen just 2 slides back, where we generated AM signal using non-linear resistance. Now that non-linear resistance has now been replaced with PN diode directly. Okay, so you see here we have considered the relationship between voltage and current up to second order. Okay, by considering the non-linearity, then what we are doing, we are applying the sum of the two signals. So we have A plus B, Vm plus Vc plus C times Vm plus Vc square. And Vm plus Vc means sum of the modulating signal and the carrier. So this Vm plus Vc has been applied to the diode here, having non-linear resistance. So if you simplify this expression we get, and you can very easily see here that your Vm is nothing but capital Vm sine omega mt, then small vc is nothing but capital Vc sine omega ct. So this capital Vc is amplitude of the carrier, capital Vm is the amplitude of modulating signal. So this is our instantaneous value of modulating signal. This is instantaneous value of the carrier. So if we substitute these two values, this is what we get. Okay, and by using trigonometric expression and simplifying further, what do we get? We get this expression. And how do we get that? If you carefully observe in this above expression, we have many components. See, we have B times Vm sine omega mt, Vc sine omega ct. This is as it is, which has come here. Then we have Vm square sine square omega t. So we have sine square term here. Okay, sine square omega and sine square omega c. So by applying trigonometric expression, this sine square can be reduced as 1 minus cos 2 omega n by 2. Okay, so similarly sine square omega c becomes 1 minus cos 2 omega c by 2. Okay, and then we have third term, that is sine omega mt multiplied with sine omega ct. This means sine a sine b. So by applying again trigonometric expression, we willfully arrive at another expression that gives us cosine of omega c minus omega mt and cosine of omega c plus omega m times t. Okay, so these are common your trigonometric expressions by using which we have been able to come to this expression. Okay, so now we again reorganize this expression. And how do we reorganize? We bring the constant terms together. Then what we do, we bring omega m, omega c terms separately. Then what we do, we get twice omega m frequency and twice omega c frequency separately. And we segregate the lower sideband and upper sideband terms separately. So I hope all of you are able to again see that these terms are nothing but the same terms that we had seen in the non-linear resistance discussion. That is, we have the two sidebands in the form of omega c minus omega m and omega c plus omega m, and we have some other components, that is DC component, then original modulating signal, original carrier signal, and the harmonics of modulating signal and carrier signal. Okay, and as I told you that we will keep the desired components with us and we will remove the undesired components. So see students, we need to tune our output secondary of the circuit in such a way that it passes or it allows only the two sidebands and the carrier component part. Only these three components will be passed to the secondary, and rest of the components, they will not be moved forward to the secondary of the output transformer. So that's why it is written here that at the output of tuning circuit. Okay, so by proper tuning, it is behaving like a filter. We can remove other components, and we are left with only 3 components which are there in your double sideband full carrier amplitude modulation. So where we have carrier part, lower sideband, and your upper side. Okay, so this is all about your amplitude modulated signal generation using PN diode. So more or less the discussion that we have done now, this is same as that we did in the last 2 slides where we generated AM using a non-linear resistance. So in this present slide, we have simply replaced our non-linear resistance with a diode, and a complete circuit has come in front of you, which is giving you amplitude modulated signal generation. Okay, the underlying idea here is that we have to use the non-linear resistance characteristic. That's it. And we have to remove unwanted component, and we have to keep with us the desired components. Rest of all the things, they are very, very simple. Okay, so this is the method through which we can generate double sideband full carrier AM using PN diode. Fine. So now let us move forward. After we have completed our discussion on double sideband full carrier, now we move to double sideband suppressed carrier. So we move to another form of your amplitude modulation, that is double sideband suppressed carrier. I have already talked about double sideband suppressed carrier in detail conceptually. Okay, where I told you that we remove the carrier, we keep only the lower sideband part and the upper sideband part. Okay, carrier is removed, and the carrier is removed to ensure the saving in the power of the AM signal. Okay, so that we have talked about. So you can see that this is the frequency spectrum of your double sideband suppressed carrier signal, and this is your time domain representation where carrier has been removed. So the first method through which we can generate double sideband suppressed carrier is by using multiplier. Okay, so obviously we have also seen in the previous slide of double sideband full carrier. Just a minute, you see here we had 2 things. One is your multiplier and another was your summer. The aim of summer was to add the carrier part. Okay, so if we do not have carrier part, we have only your lower sideband and upper sideband. So we need only multiplier. Okay, so that means if we want double sideband suppressed carrier in the most simple manner, we need only analog multiplier. So at the input of analog multiplier, we have 2 signals. One is your modulating signal, another is carrier. Multiplier, what it does, it multiplies the 2 signal. Now what is VM? VM is VM sine omega mt. VC is VC sine omega ct. And if you apply trigonometric expression, this is what do you get? And this is nothing but your double sideband suppressed carrier signal without any carrier. So mathematically as well as conceptually, both things are very, very clear to all of us. By using simple multiplier, we get double sideband suppressed carrier signal. I hope this thing is clear to everyone. Fine. Now we move to next method. So students, this topic is very, very important. In fact, the method that we are using here, it will be used at many places. So that's why we need to understand this thing in detail. Though it is very, very simple, all that you need to basically apply is the concepts that we have understood till now. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are generating double sideband suppressed carrier signal with another method, and that method is by using balanced modulator. Okay, so balanced modulator is nothing but it is a circuit which will be basically generating double sideband suppressed carrier. Okay, and this balanced modulator circuit it will be constructed using diodes or transistors. Again, see what we understood in the previous slide, that by simple multiplying we get double sideband suppressed carrier. So here you can say that how actually we are realizing multiplier. We are realizing multiplier by balanced modulator. Balanced modulator circuit is nothing but a kind of multiplier. Okay, in fact, this balanced modulator is also available in the form of integrated circuit, IC. If you go to the market and ask for balanced modulator IC, you will be able to get balanced modulator IC. And if you read the data sheet of that IC, and if you apply two signals at the input of that IC, at the output you will get the multiplied signal, and those multiplied that multiplied signal will be nothing but your AM signal, suppressed carrier, double sideband suppressed carrier AM signal. So here, in fact, this is one and the same thing that we have discussed in previous slide. All that is, your balanced modulator is nothing but a multiplier. Okay, so this multiplier, it uses either diodes or transistor, and it acts as multiplier. Fine. So in case of this method for double sideband suppressed carrier generation, what we do, we use two diodes. I'm telling you beforehand what does it consist of. So it consists of two diodes which are used at opposite ends. Okay, I'll show you the circuit in the next slide. Another thing that we use in this circuit is we use center tapped transformer. Okay, I hope all of you are already aware of this. We know transformer, it has a primary, it has a secondary, it induces voltage from primary to secondary. Center tapped means the coil which is present in the transformer, it is tapped at the center. Okay, so if you see at the circuit on the next slide, you'll be able to see that. Okay, so since we are using two diodes, those diodes are nomenclatured as D1 and D2. Fine. So what we do, at the input of diode D1, we supply VC plus VM. Obviously, we have only two input signal. One is a carrier signal and another is your modulating signal. So we have two diodes. At one diode, we supply the sum of two signals. Okay, at another diode, we supply the difference of two signals. Okay. So students, we have two diodes. One supplies the sum of the two voltage, and another diode receives the difference of the two voltage. Okay, you'll be able to clarify yourself in the circuit that how to obtain the sum of two signals and the difference of the two signals. Okay, and now the output of these two diodes, they will be combined. Okay, they will be combined together in the output transformers. Fine. We will see how do we combine them, and once we combine them, we get double sideband suppressed carrier signal using balanced mode. Fine. So here one thing we need to know here, that your system is completely symmetrical. Okay, so I think you will be able to clarify yourself about this last point once we look into the circuit. First, let me show you that circuit, and then we will continue with our discussion on this point. So let me show you circuit. From this slide, you have to memorize two things. One is that we use two diodes. Those diodes are at the opposite ends of center tap transformer. Another thing is that these diodes receives VC plus VM and VC minus. Let us see. So this is the circuit. We have the two diodes D1 and D2. Okay, and diode D1 and D2, they are connected. This is your center tap transformer. So this secondary is, tapped at the center. This is called center tap. Fine. And this is the current of diode D1, and this is the current of diode D2. Okay. So this is the circuit for, you can say, diode D1, and this is the circuit for your diode D2. Fine. And your modulating signal, it is applied at the input transformer. And how do we apply carrier? Carrier is applied through separate, you can say, transformer like this. So this is how we are applying carrier. Just a minute, I'll see. This is how we are applying carrier. And this is how we are applying modulating signal. Okay, so if you look at the circuit carefully, you concentrate on diode D1. So what is happening? Your VM, it is coming from the primary to the secondary. So VM will come here. Just a minute. See, how does center tap transformer works? So at the center tab, you have, it's a common point. Okay, normally we ground this point. So when voltage is induced in the normal coil, how do we represent that induced voltage? We represent like this. Fine, like if we have plus minus V here. So in secondary also it is plus minus. Your polarity of the signal induced, it is like this. Okay, now in center tap, how does it induce? So what we have plus sign here. Okay, we have minus sign here. We have again plus sign here, and we have minus sign here. Okay, so if you take them together, make it a common point. So what we have a positive polarity at the top of this coil and negative polarity at the bottom of this coil. Okay, so if you look at the upper portion of this circuit, so what happens? And another thing, this is center tap transformer. So this voltage VM, same voltage will be induced in the two ends of the center tap. Means you will have this plus minus VM here, plus minus VM, and this also plus minus VM. So both these voltage will be VM here in the both the parts. Okay, let me show it more clearly. So you will have VM here, you will have VM here in the two halves. Okay, but the polarities will be opposite. We'll have plus minus. So here also plus minus. Okay, but the polarity which will be applicable to D2, it is negative polarity, and polarity which is applicable to D1, it is your positive polarity. Okay, and if you look at VC, okay, your VC, this is the primary of VC and this is secondary of VC. So your VC is applied with same polarity to both the diodes. This is plus minus VC. Okay, so now you see at the input of diode D1, what is happening? Plus VM, okay, and plus VC, means your VM and VC, they are in series. Okay, so at the input of D1, we have VC plus VM. Okay, because VC and VM both are in series here, same polarity. Whereas at the input of diode D2, what is happening? VC is having same polarity plus to the P side, that is VC. Okay, but for VM, we have negative polarity for at the P side. So we have VC minus VM. So through D1, VC plus VM flows or applied. At D2, VC minus VM is applied. Is that point clear? Okay, so this is how your this balance modulator circuit works, and then your current flows through this D1 and D2. Okay, and see again this output transformer primary, this is also center tapped and this is common point. Okay, so from this common point, the currents will be flowing like this. Okay, fine, in the opposite direction. It simply indicates that the polarity of the currents which is flowing through this center tab primary, they are in opposite direction. Okay, means the primary of the output transformer, it will be inducing the difference of the two voltages or two currents signal. Fine. So I hope this thing is clear to each and every. Okay. So after looking at this thing, now we can move to its mathematical analysis and prove that how does our balanced modulator circuit provides us double sideband suppressed carriers. Okay. So students, this is how your balanced modulator circuit works. Now we will prove things mathematically so that we are able to see how does our output signal look like. Let us see. See, your diode D1, it receives VC plus VM. We know that diode D1 is a non-linear resistive device. So obviously we have applied the same expression that we saw in the previous slides. So this is ID1 means the current through diode D1 is equal to A plus B times VC plus VM plus C times VC plus VM square. Okay. And if you open it up, you get ID1 like this. Fine. Similarly, your diode D2, it receives VC minus VM. So expression is same as we saw in D1. All that is required is this is the current through diode D2. Okay. So we have VC minus VM. Fine. And if we open it up, we get ID2 is equal to A plus B times VC minus B times VM plus C VC square plus C VM square minus 2C VM VC. So this is simple mathematical expression. Okay. So then I told you that the resulting output currents from these two diodes D1 and D2. Okay. And resulting output currents, how do we do that? Diode D1 gives current corresponding to VC plus VM, that is addition of these two signals, and D2 gives the current corresponding to subtraction of the two signals. Okay. And those outputs are combined. And I showed you that the output of the two diodes, that is difference of the two currents. Okay. Because the current is going in the opposite direction. So that's why your resulting current in the primary of output transformer, it is ID1 minus ID. Okay. So if you subtract this expression and this expression, means ID1 minus ID2, you get this. And what is this? 2B VM. So means 2B times VM, that is modulating signal, plus 4C times VMVC. So this 2B and 4C are nothing but they are some constant or some coefficient of these terms. We have only mainly two terms. One is modulating signal term and another is multiplication of two terms, VM and VC. Fine. So we already know. Now we will substitute the value of VM and VC. So once we do that, this is what do we get. And what do we get? We get modulating signal. This is modulating signal. What is this? This is lower sideband. This is upper sideband. And how do we get lower sideband, upper sideband? Obviously, we have already understood this thing that we are multiplying two signals, VM and VC. We have got the two sidebands and we have got modulating. Obviously, this signal is the undesired signal. We need to remove this signal. And luckily, there is lot of difference between the frequencies of modulating signal and the sideband frequency. That it can be easily suppressed or easily removed. Okay, and how do we do that? This secondary of the output transformer, that secondary is tuned. We have tuned our secondary coil of the output transformer in such a way that it will remove this modulating signal part. Okay, so obviously your coil will give us output voltage which will be proportional to the current. This is what do we get, and once we tune it, this is the final output. This final output, it consists of lower sideband and it consists of upper side, and this 2Q refers to nothing but some amplitude of these two signals. Okay, including the proportionality value. So I hope all of you have understood this thing. Now let us move to the circuit again. See, this tuning, your output coil and your capacitor, variable capacitor, it is LC filter. Okay, so this tuning will remove your modulating signal part component, and will be left with only two sidebands. One is your lower sideband and another is your upper sideband. Okay, this is how we get our double sideband suppressed carrier signal using balance modulator. Okay, so indirectly this balance modulator is also nothing but a multiplier. Fine. So I hope all of you have clearly understood this thing. So this was very simple one. Fine. Next. So we have in double sideband suppressed carrier generation, we have seen the simple multiplier. We have seen the multiplication using balance modulator or generation of double sideband suppressed carrier signal using balance modulator and removal of those components with the help of tuned circuit. So after double sideband suppressed carrier signal, now next form of amplitude modulation is single sideband signal. Okay, so you know, first what we did, we had double sideband full carrier. From that we removed carrier first. We were left with the two sidebands, means we moved to double sideband suppressed carrier. Okay, and then out of those two bands we have removed one of the bands, and we get single sideband. We get bandwidth saving in case of single sideband along with the power saving. So this is also we have talked about in detail. Either we get the upper sideband or we get the lower side. So students, before we move to SSB signal generation, one point I forgot to highlight. I told you in the last to last slide that these two diodes D1 and D2, they must be identical. They must be symmetrical. If you remember, let me show you. I wanted to highlight this point, that if the system is completely symmetrical, means perfectly identical diodes, your carrier frequency is completely cancelled. So we need to give some thought to it, and that thought, let me tell you how that thing is important. You look at this mathematical expression. Okay, so if you look at this mathematical expression, you will be able to remove carrier only when the difference of these two currents, that gives you this expression. Okay, means the VC part in these two expression, this your this CV square part and this CVC square part, the carrier component through these two diodes, if they completely subtract with each other, only then you will be able to get signal double sideband without carrier. Carrier will be completely cancelled. But let me tell you students, the two diodes, they cannot be 100% identical. There must be some difference, though mathematically I have shown you value C here, but it may not be exactly C. This may be C1 and this may be C2. Okay, so some part of carrier may be present here, because we cannot ensure perfectly identical diode. We cannot ensure that. And in fact, this is a blessing in disguise. Remember student, this is not double sideband without carrier. This is double sideband suppressed carrier. We are not fully removing carrier. We want some part of carrier just to ensure synchronization. I told you this thing. Okay, so this suppressed carrier will not be fully without carrier. Some carrier is desirable here. So some carrier will be present because of inherent property of these two diodes. Okay, so that way mathematically this thing is not possible. Okay, but practically we desire that some part of carrier is required. That's why we accept this thing. Okay, so balance modulator will theoretically, it should give double sideband without carrier, but practically balance modulator will give us double sideband suppressed carrier, which is what we actually want. Okay, so I think this point is clear to everyone. So now we return back to our discussion regarding generation of single sideband signal. So this generation is very simple. Okay, so the first method is you're using filter method. Okay, So obviously this generation is very, very simple in a way that in case of generation of single sideband signal, first we need to generate double sideband suppressed carrier signal. Okay, and this double sideband suppressed carrier signal will be obtained with the help of balance modulator. Once we have got two sidebands by removing carrier, then we will use a filter to remove one of the sidebands. If you want upper sideband, you will filter out lower sideband. If you want lower sideband, you will filter out upper sideband. Okay, so whatever sideband you will require at the output, you will use the filter corresponding. So if you look at the block diagram, we have balance modulator to generate double sideband suppressed carrier signal. Then we use sideband suppression filter to generate the single sideband signal. Okay, so mathematically, this is the output of your balance modulator. That is, we get the two sidebands. Okay, and then by using your sideband suppression filter, okay, which is actually a band pass filter, because it is not passing a basically a single frequency, is passing band of frequency, your sideband filter. Okay, so we can use a band pass filter which has extremely high attenuation outside pass band. Fine. So depending on the cutoff frequency, we get either the lower sideband or the upper sideband. So whichever is desirable. If you want lower sideband, you extract lower sideband from this signal. If you want upper sideband, you extract this. So whatever our requirement is, accordingly we get that signal. Okay, so this is about your generation of a single sideband signal using filter method. I hope nothing much to explain further in this SSB signal generation. Okay, so students, next method is generation of SSB signal using phase shift method. So I'm just showing you this method. I'll not go into details of this method in today's class. So you keep in mind that this phase shift method is used for the generation of SSB signal. Okay, so this we will discuss in the next class. Fine then. So I stop here, and we will discuss this method in the next class.